It's that time again. Crusty Bob, Vintage Flatulence, is in or on the air.
Okay, it's time to catch up on the news. Now, these particular news stories actually come from the teletype services they used to have way back when. They called them United Press International and Associated Press. And you may remember watching, the old TV programs or movies, and you'd see these big old machines going clackety, clackety, clack. They had boxes full of continuous feed paper, this yellowish kind of paper, and that fed out the news and sent it all over the country, and every radio and TV station and newspaper had one. So these are from actually 1980 when I was working at KHJ Radio in Hollywood. Hooray for. And the first one here is the Weather Service forecast. And then here we turn to sports. And the sports one concerns the Super Bowl. And this is for release Sunday, January 13th, 1980. And the dateline is Pasadena. So I was actually working for, I think, a Los Angeles station still at this time. And the game was in the LA area, but naturally I was not going to go see it because I was poor. Anyway, the story starts off. It's never exactly a sleepy little town, but a week from now you won't recognize it. And the annual hoopla surrounding the Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day will seem like that old Sunday school picnic. The Super Bowl, the National Football League's annual exercise in flatulence. Let's repeat that. This is what the reporter wrote. The Super Bowl, the National Football League's annual exercise in flatulence, is just 1 week away. 7 days from now, this elegant community, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about the part after that? Well, this is before the internet, so stuff like this only went viral as far as hitting every teletype machine in the country. Most of these probably got tossed in the trash. So they sent out a follow-up there, and I think they marked that important. It says, editors, this lead makes an important change in the second graph. Graph was the old journalism term for paragraph. Gee, how'd they think of that? And then it says, down here, it says, the Super Bowl, the NFL's annual exercise in overkill. Overkill replaced flatulence, and we know that overkilling and farting are very similar functions, so that works well. The other story here, I'm not sure I can even read this thing out loud to you. It was apparently someone at the Weather Service. They used to send the forecast out to us over the teletype system. This one's National Weather Service, Kansas City, Missouri, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Friday, April 4th, 1980. Showers and thunder showers moving through the eastern U.S. Well, nothing newsworthy there. That's pretty much a daily occurrence for parts of the eastern U.S. and the Midwest. And he goes on to say a cold front continued to spread showers and thunder showers from the mid. Nah, we don't care about that. All right, here we go. Next paragraph. Thursday evening, storms produced a massive orgy in southwestern Georgia. I've heard people call it orgy. Is that just a redneck thing? Anyway, Thursday evening, storms produced a massive orgy in southwestern Georgia and northwestern Ohio. Balls the size of hail was observed at Attapulgis, Georgia, while at Cairo, Georgia, there was a lot of nice measuring to Dolly Parton's Twin Peaks. And it continues. And, well, this one was probably received with a little less sense of humor than was the flatulence NFL story. And the follow-up here is like, it's like criminal investigation. They call in, whatever, CSI. We'll get the deal here. Federal authorities said today that a Weather Bureau employee practicing on a new computer terminal apparently was responsible for a forecast that was released over news wires that contained offensive and obscene remarks. And I can tell you, having looked at these with my very eyes, that some of them were indeed obscene. And probably more offensive today than they were in 1980. The only thing we can determine is that someone was practicing on a new machine. Someone, they're protecting his butt, and didn't know the information was going out. It was all very regrettable, said, said who? Said the spokesman for the Weather Service. Okay, his name. It was all very regrettable, said Don Lust, L-U-S-T, that's right. An official with the National Weather Service in Los Angeles. But there's a headline there somewhere, Lust addresses obscenity. Okay, the material was released as part of the National Weather Summary, which ran about 2 p.m. over City News Service. That was a Los Angeles local service that we had at KHJ Radio. Weather forecasts are programmed directly into the CNS computer from the Weather Bureau's computer center in Los Angeles. I assure you it wasn't intentional. Lust added. So I've had these things sitting around in boxes since 1980, so that's a long time. So had to do something with them. Still paper is still an interesting thing, these old original documents, but nobody ever gets to read that, and everybody gets to read the internet, don't they?